What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American, here today to react and enjoy some Canadian memes. It is time, once again, to take a look at some funny pictures with text on them, all about Canada. And I have no idea what I am going to learn today from the Canadian memes, but there's only one way to find out. So let's take a look, starting with me. As a Canadian, you must like maple syrup and hockey. Canadian, I'm going to pay you $100 to F off. Oh no. Oh no. Is this true? Is this accurate? Like, are Canadians just over it? Over the Canadian stereotypes? So, how often does this actually happen in Canadian day to day life, though? Like, you're a Canadian. You must really love syrup and hockey and igloos. and you're and as a Canadian, you're like, I'm gonna pay you to go away. Just go away. Don't talk to me. But seriously, what do Canadians think about this? The Canadian stereotypes. Does it annoy you? Does it offend you? Do you not want to hear it? Are you sort of amused by it? Maybe you don't really hear it that often. That's what I'm thinking. Like, if you're a Canadian living in Canada, you probably don't even hear this very often. Like, people coming up to you on the street, like, "Oh, Canadian." It's like, "What? You're a Canadian too. Why are we talking about this?" Okay, let's keep going. Next, we have babies in buckets. As Tyler Bucket, I can really relate to this. Maybe these are my relatives or something. Babies in buckets. How babies are born in Canada. Right, right. Hey, that's not how they're born. That's just how we find them in our maple syrup buckets. No one knows how they're born. No one knows how Canadians are born. I can't help but be a little distracted. Like, how was this picture even taken? Like, I know this is a meme. It's for the joke. It's for the comedy. But who stuffed their, like, babies into buckets on a tree and took a picture? It's actually pretty funny. This would actually be, like, a good, like, picture to hang up at home. Anyway, it also makes a good meme. I don't know. This isn't even funny, right? This is just factual information. This is how Canadians are born, out of buckets. Or no one knows how they're born. This is just how you find. Canadians are born in a secret way, and then I don't know, the Canadian stork leaves them in buckets to find, or I don't know. Interesting. Next we have USA. We have stripes and stars. Australia, we have stars. Okay, so we're talking about the flag. France, we have stripes. Canada, leaf. What? Yeah, there's a leaf. You're proud of the leaf. All caps, leaf. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's interesting for Canadians to hear this, but as an American, from our point of view, we do think of the Canadian flag as very, very unique. And I think some Americans even do poke a little fun at it because it is like a maple leaf. I think it's awesome. And I've even learned about the history of the Canadian flag, which is really interesting. Anyway, I think this is probably funny for Canadians because from your point of view, this is just the Canadian flag. Like, you don't think it's funny or strange. It's just normal, and you're probably proud of it. But for some reason, Americans love to be like, yeah, the Canadian flag, it's got the leaf on it. Yeah, like, I don't know. I think Americans are way too amused by the Canadian flag. So, yes, Canada, leaf. Yes. Okay, next we have graffiti. Graffitied Canadian. A graffitied Canadian with a maple leaf tattooed on them. A Canadian. Yeah, that's how all Canadians look, for sure. Like a Mountie. Some Americans might think that. And then Canadian graffiti. Your mom loves you. Very polite, very wholesome. Exactly. I get it. This is like a guide to graffiti. You got regular graffiti, the graffitied Canadian, the Canadian, and the Canadian graffiti, which is very nice. Your mom loves you. Okay, good. Interesting. This is what I mean about how I never know what I'm going to learn about Canada when I start pulling up the Canadian memes, but I love it. Okay, let's keep going. This is a sign. It says, "Do not let moose lick your car." Lick your car. And there's the moose. Is this a real is this a real thing? Like, is this a real sign in Canada? Like, legitimately? Do moose want to lick your car? And it's up to you not to let them? What are you gonna do to stop the moose? I guess you can, like, drive away. But if a moose approaches me, I mean, it's gonna do whatever moose do. I'm at its I'm at its whim. Maybe I could run away. Is it gonna want to lick me or just my car? I got a lot of questions about this one. That's the most Canadian thing I've seen so far. Signs in Canada. Don't let the moose lick your car. Okay, good to know. Next we have America was too mean to us. So we are going to Canada. This is Karens. like annoying people that you might call a Karen on the internet. America was mean to us, so we're going to Canada. Then Canadians are just laughing and looking very buff and swole and naked for some reason and bald. This is a very strange comic. So Canadians are just laughing. Then in the bottom left, they're really laughing at the idea that people are gonna go from America to Canada. That's funny to you, is it? And then they're beating them up. What's going on here? What is this last panel? Canadians, are you gonna do this? If Americans want to like immigrate to Canada, you're gonna laugh and then beat them up. and look like this strange naked people who are really muscular. What on earth is this comic? I'm not sure I totally understand, but it's kind of funny, and I hope it's not true. I hope Canadians don't look like this, and don't beat up the poor rectangles named Karen who want to come to Canada. Okay. Next, we have Americans getting ready for July the 4th. Apparently, we are a dog being hugged. Americans getting ready for July the 4th. That's coming up next month, actually. And then there's Canadians as a little cat. The Canadians is a little cute cat. And then it says, Canadians having Canada Day today. I get it now. Canadians having Canada Day today. Canada Day is coming up soon as well, huh? It's right before July the 4th for us, huh? Isn't it? Canadians having pretty much their birthday today. Looking very sad and cute and so it's like the cat is Canada, like wanting Americans or people to notice that it's Canada Day, because I mean, I don't think Canadians really care about what Americans think or notice about Canada Day. But I will say that it is funny to me how Americans don't even know Canada Day exists. Like, seriously. Like, I had to learn about Canada Day. Most Americans have no idea it exists, no idea what it's for, when it is. So it's definitely true that Americans will probably never acknowledge Canada's Day's existence. No offense meant. We just don't even know it exists. We're in our own little 4th of July Independence Day bubble. That's funny, but it's trying to say Canadians are like sad about it, but I think Canadians are perfectly happy to celebrate Canada Day in Canada. And the cat was funny though. All right, next we have Niagara Falls, New York. That's America holding our guns and Niagara Falls, Ontario. And it's also funny that it's Ice Cube having a great time in his boat. This Niagara Falls, right? It's how different is Niagara Falls, New York, versus Niagara Falls, Ontario, because they're right next to each other, right? I can only go off of this meme, so I just have to take this as the truth. I mean, Niagara Falls, New York, terrible. We're all Americans with our guns. And there is wholesome Niagara Falls, Ontario, enjoying Niagara Falls, having a great time. Pretty big difference, honestly. This says, you know your economy is depressed when even your currency goes emo. What is this? These are, like, toonies? Toonies that are black? They're emo. Emo toonies. What is this about? Is Canada changing the design of the toonie? Or maybe this is like a limited collection or something. Um, but yeah, I understand the joke. It's a good joke. I'm more fascinated by the design. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Emo toonies in Canada because the economy is depressed. Isn't every economy around the entire planet depressed? All of our currency should be turning dark or black in a depression. I mean, anyway, before we go down that rabbit hole, let's keep going. This is a chart of the evolution of man. In Russia, they start as a ape and become a person with a gun. Americans become gigantically obese. Japanese become like warrior kaiju or I don't know what, robots? China, there's just a lot of them. Germany has a beer. India is floating in meditation. And there's Canada, a snowman. Canadians evolve into a snowman. This chart, this meme is telling me here. There you go. And there you go. In Netherlands, they just become huge. Wow! I never knew. They should have had this hanging up in our science classrooms. Canadians just evolve into snowmen. Dang. Is that like the life cycle of Canada? Okay, I'm going to stop. Next, we have Mexico and America fighting, and then Canada and America just drawing a line. Oh, man. I mean, and it's just a smiling mouse. I mean, I actually think this is great. I actually love that about the US and Canada. The fact that we do have such a gigantic border, that's just peaceful. Like, we just drew a line and people can just come and go. I think you need to have a passport and, like, go through border patrol or whatever you got to do. But the friendliness that it shows between Canada and America is, I think, really cool. Our relationship with the US-Mexico border is very complicated and controversial. And all right, next we have Canadian. Canada is so great due to its great history, diversity, and food. But the real reason why Canada is so great is because of PP Island. You heard it here first. PP Island. Is this a real island in Canada? This is in Newfoundland and Labrador. It's got Google reviews. It's got a 4.7. That's pretty good. Islands can have Google reviews? PP Island? This is why Canada is great. Nothing else. Nothing. Okay. Man, I've never heard of... Oh my gosh. How can you say that with a straight face? Do people live on PP Island? I'm trying to just say the name and get through this. What's on PP Island? It's got good reviews. I'm curious. I mean, according to this meme, it's the sole reason why Canada is amazing. So, and everyone knows memes are 100% factually correct. So, okay. And finally, we have Canada Strong. We are all in this together. Now F off. Now F off. What was this? Was this during like the pandemic or something? Or is this just general Canadian sentiment? It's like a sense of unity, but also strangely relatable. We're all in this together. Now go away. Just get out of here. F off. That's a great sign. Yeah. Or can Canadians be a bit passive aggressive like this? Or maybe it's just a good sense of humor, in my opinion. What was this for? Oh man, maybe all Canadians have this sign. This is great. That was good. And with that, we're at the end. That is the Canadian memes for today. That was interesting. That was random, and I really enjoyed that. I learned some pretty interesting things about Canada that I don't think I'd learn anywhere else. And so I really did enjoy the Canadian memes. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these Canadian memes. That'd be very fun to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture and learning things about Canada for the first time, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.